Hey everyone, my name is John and I am the founder of whatifi. Whatifi is a highly visual, low-code financial modeling and simulation platform designed for business decision makers. We help them create, calculate, compare, and share multiple what-if financial forecasts. What does that mean? It means that we can rapidly create these financial models all without formulas or spreadsheets. Instead, you connect together these pre-built business logic events to create dozens of scenarios all in real time. We're being used by video game companies, VFX studios, construction companies, and even other software startups. But let's skip the business part and dig right into the magic. Here we go. So here's an example of a very basic software as a service customer growth model. Our financial models tell a story, and there are two what-ifs in this particular scenario. What if all of my customers grow by a certain percentage? Or what if my cohorts grow by different percentages? And what if I raise my prices in one month by a certain amount? Or what if I raise it in a different month by a different amount? We're able to tell this story by connecting together these pre-built business logic events. These events include things like income expenses, debits, credits, loans, things like that, QuickBooks integration. We also have a whole suite of generative events like customers and growth and churn, campaigns, segments, outbound sales. This list is growing month by month. In this particular model, we're connecting a customer event. That customer event is establishing our customer cohorts here. Then we have our first decision. What if all of our customer cohorts grow by 10%? Or instead, what if one of those cohorts grows by 15%? Another one grows dynamically. We have two churn events. We have a unit cost event here where we're establishing the pricing of our products here, and then our revenue event. And then lastly, we have modifiers where we're calculating whether we raise our prices by 25% in July or whether we raise them double in January. Every single one of these calculations runs through this financial model and creates these scenario threads, and we're able to easily graph all four of these to compare them against each other over time. Some models can be incredibly simple, like this customer, growth, and churn model. Or they can be more complex, like the staff reduction model. Here we're looking at what happens if revenue decreases and we have to scale back staff. There are 9 models in this scenario. Or something like this mergers and acquisition scenario. It has 99 different outcomes that are all calculating in real time. So now that we understand how whatifi works, we're going to build a model from scratch. In this example, we're going to have initial bank balance, 2 income streams, 1 expense, and then we're going to look at hiring 2 different developers. One is Bill or one is Sue. And then we're also going to add a modifier here to determine what happens if our revenue decreases in a future month. So here we have the infamous blank canvas. We're going to start by adding an initial balance event from the option picker. We're going to give it a name, cash on hand, pick the account that we want to assign it to, and make it $300,000. Now you can see here $300,000 cumulatively on the timeline. Next, we're going to add an income event. For the first one, we're looking at revenue A. It is a monthly expense, $10,000, and we're going to give it a start date of May. Here you can see both monthly and or cumulatively what that looks like. But we're going to add a second revenue stream. This time it's going to be a one-off contract. It's a one-time event, $50,000, and that has a start date in the future of September. And now on the graph you can see both of those revenue streams, including the spike from the contract. Next, an expense. Let's make this something like a software as a service fee. It's monthly, $1,000, and it starts at the beginning of this year. Cash flow shows those two, but we can also turn on both our expenses and income accounts and look at both those values independently. Next up, let's add Bill. Bill is a senior developer. He's going to be an employment expense. He's based in Vancouver. And he's $80 an hour, but he's only able to work 30 hours a week, and he's paid bi-weekly. The start date's going to be in September. So here we can see those bi-weekly payments. Lastly, we're going to add a modifier. That modifier allows us to pick an upstream income and the value for the revenue A, and we can hypothetically say, well, what if that value changes and instead it's cut in half, 50% effective March. So now we can see what that looks like in this one scenario where income depreciates in March. Now we want to add a decision though. We're looking at a different potential candidate. We're looking at also hiring Sue. So we're going to add a decision event here for the staffing decision. And Bill, we're going to duplicate Bill, create a new branch, patch that branch back in, close that branch off, and now we can edit the second event here and change it to be Sue. Sue is based in Los Angeles. She's $90 an hour. She can only work 20 hours a week, and her start date is more immediate though. So we now have two scenarios calculating here, two scenario threads. We can pop both of those on the graph now and see what our cash flow looks like in these two different scenarios with two different developers and a world where our revenue is decreasing in the future. We can also at any particular stage choose to lock some events in. So maybe we're choosing to hire Sue. That will take us down to one singular scenario thread in calculation now. We can also choose to bypass events on the fly to see what happens if we take our expenses out of our graph. And that's a brief sneak peek at whatifi. We're in our early adopter phase and actively adding new events and API integrations every week. We look forward to your feedback. Thank you.